So let's label the parts of our HTML file properly. So as you can see, this is the head section up to here. Then this is our navigation. Okay, so let's name it as navigation. Okay, and select Control/ for the comment. Okay, so our navigation, or our nav bar, let's say nav bar. Okay, our nav bar ends right here. Okay, so it ends up here. Okay, so if you're a beginner, it's really useful if you label the parts of your HTML file. Okay, and this is our main, or the body of HTML, where we're going to manipulate most of the contents. Okay, and of course this is the footer section. And the footer ends here. Okay, so now let's try to connect with our database. Okay, so this nav bar here, I'll just show you something. Okay, so let's delete this for now, and let's go to your DB. Okay, so let's check if we are really connected. So here we created our connection, okay, using this method, MySQL iConnect. If there's a problem with our connection, it's going to display an error. But if it's connected properly, or we have established our connection, let's say else, let's echo something. Echo connection. We are connected. We are successfully connected. Okay, and close. Okay, go back to brackets, to index.php, and here we wanted to include, okay, our db.php here, or our database. Okay, so let's call it. So as you can see, I have deleted the contents here inside navbar. Okay, select save or Control S and refresh the page. Okay, as you can see, our navbar disappeared, but later on we're going to include that again. What we're trying to know here is that if we are really connected to our database. Okay, so in our index.php, we should call our db.php. Okay, so how do we do that? Okay, of course, start with PHP tags. Okay, and let's require once. Okay. Okay, so we are going to call this method. What do we need to require? We're going to require all the things that are inside our db.php file. Okay, so require once, name of the folder, we have includes. Okay, name of the file, db.php. Okay, and enclose it in a quotation. Okay, save. Okay, so when it's successful, it's going to output we are successfully connected, but if it's not, then there would be an error. Okay. Okay, refresh. So it says we are successfully connected. Okay, so how about if there's an error? Let's say if not connect. So it's going to look for something like connect, but there is no connect. There's only con. Okay, refresh, then undefined variable and so on. Okay, so it's better that we know, or we take note of what variable names you are using. Okay, let's put it back to con, and we are successfully connected. Okay. So we're going to just delete for now. Save and go back to index.php and oops, navigation. We can also look for different nav bars here. Okay, we can use this nav bar, or we can use this one. Or what else? Okay, maybe we can use this one. Nav bar, drop down link. Okay, we can make use of this one. See how Bootstrap makes our life easy. Okay, let's put it inside navbar. Save and here, refresh. Okay, so maybe we can change this to something darker. So let's say navbar number large, navbar dark, background dark. Save and refresh. There. Okay. So instead of navbar here, maybe we can say this is A for link. Okay. So instead of navbar, we'll say Employee Information System, or EIS. Save and refresh. Okay, now we have it here. Okay, and this is also responsive. If we want to minimize the size of the screen, the links turn into a hamburger button something here. Okay. Okay, so again, see how Bootstrap makes our life easy. Discuss something about SQL queries. Okay. So now let's make a table right here where the data about our employees will display. Okay, so right now we only have two information or two records. We have Potter's and Professor Xavier's, and we want that to be displayed in a tabular form in here. Okay, so let's go back to our index.php after the navbar. Okay, so remove this, and instead of Bootstrap starter template, let's say employee records. Okay, save. Oops, no spelling wrong. Save and okay. In here again, let's create a table. So let's go back to Bootstrap and look for table. Table, content, tables, and what table do we want to display? You can select anything you like as long as it's appropriate to what you are displaying or what you want to display. Maybe we can use this one. Okay, so let's just copy this one and the div here, or no, just right here. Okay, inside this div, okay, put the table inside the div, save and F5. Okay, so now we have our dummy content inside the table, but we're going to replace this one dynamically. So whatever we have saved in our database, we want to also display it here in this table. Okay, so let's learn some SQL statements or some SQL query statements. SQL select statement. So what is SQL select statement? The select statement is used to select data from a database. Okay, so the data returned is stored in a result table called result set. And this is the syntax. Select, use the keyword select. Okay, so select which column. Okay, so in our case, it could be in the column MID, or in the column last name, or in the column first name, and so on. Select from there. Okay, select that column from which table. Okay, so select MID, last name, first name, and so on from table named employees. Okay, so we have this example here. So below is a section from the customers table in the Northwind sample database. Okay, select customer name. Okay, so where's the customer name, which is this column and this field, and city. Okay, from which table. Okay, select customer name and city from table, which is probably this is customers table. Okay, from the table customers. Okay, okay, so select customer name and city from customer. So in this example, in this table, there are a lot of fields. They have customer ID, customer name, contact name, address, city postal code, and so on. But we only wanted to select customer name and city, okay, from table customers. That's why it extracted all the data, which is from the fields customer name and city. Okay, so that's also what we wanted to display, okay, in our example here. Okay, so what we have in our example here are employee ID, employee last name, first name, birthday, and email. Okay, so we are also going to modify the table so that it could cater the information which are as such. Okay, so we need to have employee ID here, employee name, and so on. Okay, so let's go back to our index.php, and this is our table. Okay, so our table is composed of heading. Okay, so what does TR stand for? This is table row. Okay, and this is one row. Okay, this is also another row, and so on. This row has several TH or table header. Okay, so this is one header or table header, another table header, and so on. So let's modify it. Okay, so instead of number, let's change it into employee ID. So this one TH inside this table row, okay, we labeled it employee ID. Okay, okay, so now it changed to employee ID. Okay, employee ID, and this is last name, first name, birth date, and we only have to copy this one. Okay, birth date and email. Save and refresh. Okay, so now we have how many headers? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that was your table head, which is composed of 5 columns. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and the body of your table is from this part up to here. Okay, this is the body, this is the head. So inside your body you have how many rows? One, this is the starting row, ending row, starting row, ending row, and start row, end row. So you have three. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so what if we only have one row? Okay, save and refresh. Okay, so inside your T body you have your TR, and let's say this is your head. Okay, so this must be your employee ID here. Last name, let's say Cruz. First name, let's say John. Birth date, November 11, 2000. And email is john@gmail.com. Save and refresh. Okay, so now we have the data. But again, we do not want to have static data here. We want to fetch the data from our database here. Okay, so what we're going to do. So inside the body of our table, okay, let's code some PHP scripts here. Okay, so let's say PHP. Okay, and close PHP. Okay, so let's make a query. Okay, so let's tell PHP that we want to query inside our database. Okay, what do we want to query? Just like what happened here in the select statement. Okay, so we also want to select something inside our table. Okay, so and what are those something? Okay, in our case, that is select. What do we want to select? Select all. Okay, the asterisk symbol means all. Okay, so we do not want to just extract a customer name, just like what happened here. We do not only want to select the customer name or the city. We want to select all fields. We want to select from customer ID up to whatever is it in here. Okay, so that's why we instructed the program to select all from where? From what is the name of your table. Okay, in our case, that is table employees. Okay. Okay, so how do you know that, or how do we know that that is our table? That is the name of our table here. Okay, I mean that's just employee or what? Yes, table employee. Okay. Select all from table employee. Now we want this to be stored inside a variable, and we are going to name the variable as query. Okay, so select all from table employee. Okay, then we are going to query this select statement. Okay, so using the function or the method MySQL and then underscore query. Okay, call the connection. So what is our connection? This variable. Okay, connection, then your query. Okay. Okay, close it. And also let's put it in a variable. Let's say this is the select all employees query. Okay. Okay, now let's make use of our knowledge about arrays and loops using while loop. Okay, while, okay, MySQL fetch associative array. Okay, so what do you want it to fetch? Okay, so we want all the queries here to be fetched. Okay. Okay, and let's put it inside our variable row. Okay. While row is equals MySQL fetch associative arrays here, and then call your query. Okay. And open curly brackets. Okay. So now it's going to look for our data inside our database. What are our data inside our database? Okay, so we have the emp ID, emp last name, first name, birth date, and email. Okay, so we have the row. Okay, if you could still remember the array. Okay, so inside this variable, we look for the data which are, of course, under the fields employee ID. Okay, what else? Two, three, four, five. We have employee ID, we have employee last name, we have employee first name, we also have employee birth date, and we have employee email. Okay, so where do we get this data? Okay, from the name of the fields inside our table. Okay, so that's emp ID, last name, first name. Okay, and we assign it. Okay, so we assign it in a variable. So this one would be employee ID, so that it would be easier for us to later on use this code. So instead of calling something very long, we are going to make a shorter version of it and assign it in a variable. Okay, so it's employee ID. Okay, this one is employee last name. This one is employee first name. This one is employee birth date. And this is employee email. Okay, and save. Okay, so what are we going to output? Okay, let's tell the program output a table row. Okay, and also let's put the closing table row. Here. Okay, so inside these rows we want the data of employee ID, of employee last name, first name, birth date, and email to be shown in a loop. Okay, so echo, okay, say td or table data, okay, and close td. Okay, let's say we want you to echo the emp ID. So let's say we want you to echo the emp ID. Okay, so put curly brackets here and paste. Okay, and save. And refresh. and save and refresh. Okay, as you can see, it echoed the employee ID. Okay, from where? From the data stored in our database. So we have 1 and 2 employee IDs. Okay, so we told the program that we want you to echo the rows and the employee ID. Okay, so what else do you want us to echo? Okay, just copy this one. We also want you to echo the last name. Okay. Okay, so the last name is echoed. Okay, so what else? What do you want us to echo? Okay, so the first name. Okay. Okay, what else? Birth date, employee birth date, and email. Save. Okay, and refresh. Okay, so now we have all the data here, which is stored in this table from our database. Okay, so this is the read part of the CRUD. Okay, of the create, read, update, and delete. Okay. So what else do we want us to display in this page? So maybe we can put here an edit and delete links. Okay, so let's try that now. Okay, so echo td, let's say instead of it, we can say edit and delete. Okay, so we have edit and delete, and we are going to put it in a link. Okay, href, and leave it blank for now, and close anchor tag. Okay. Save. Okay, so as you can see, this becomes a link now, but it's not yet functioning because we haven't put any codes there yet at the href or the reference, so that anytime you click, what will happen or where will this page be transferred to. Okay, so we can put a row here, like the row here, let's say action edit or delete. Okay. Okay, or you can just put action, it depends on you. Okay, so again, this is the read part of the CRUD. Okay, so what am I talking about here? So we have CRUD. Okay, so what is CRUD? Okay, so CRUD in computer programming that is C stands for create, R is read, U is update, and D for delete. Okay, we abbreviate this as CRUD. Okay, or create, read, update, and delete, and that is the read part. Okay, so now maybe we can proceed to create. See you in the next lesson. Thank you.